Good day, class. Let's discuss about inventories. Okay, the first thing that we have to know regarding inventories is that primarily these are the items that are held for sale in the ordinary course of business. So pertaining to a merchandising business, it particularly pertains to the merchandise inventory. And for manufacturing business, we call it finished goods. Okay, having available for sale in the ordinary course of business. Now, when it comes to manufacturing, there are other things that we consider as inventories. Yung binibili mo na materials or supplies to be used in the production, tawag doon, ang account title is materials or factory supplies. These are items na inventory rin. Okay? So, eventually, magiging finished product yan or magiging finished goods. So, kahit hindi pa natapos or hindi pa naumpisahan, inventory mo na siya. So, yung materials that is hindi pa naumpisahan. Okay? In the process of production. So, ito yung tinatawag na work in process. So, pag ang merchandise or ang inventory, hindi lang pertaining to yung available for sale na. So manufacturing, pati yung kabibili mo na hindi pa na uumpisahan, yun nga yung materials, at saka yung in process of the production, which we call work in process, are also part of your inventories. Okay, so let's have the cost of the inventory. So, paano mo siya i-measure yung inventory? Number one, purchase price. Ito, syempre, yung binayaran mo para makuha mo or mabili mo yung inventory. Then number two, import duties and other non-recoverable taxes. So, self-explanatory, binayaran mo yan. Part of the cost of the inventory yan. Dagdag yan sa gastusin para makuha mo yung inventory. Pero take note here, naka-emphasize other non-recoverable tax. Ibig sabihin, merong mga tax na recoverable. Like for example, if you are a VAT-registered individual, you can claim for the input VAT. So, yung ibig sabihin ng claim mo, ibabawas mo siya dun sa output tax. And ibig sabihin, mare-recover mo siya. So, bale sisingilin mo siya sa customer. Ngayon, so simply put, VAT of a VAT-registered individual or taxpayer is recoverable. Kaya hindi siya kasali dun sa cost of the inventory. Okay? And directly attributable cost, yung mga transportation, handling, insurance, alam niyo na to, freight in is part of the cost of the inventory. Then, kasali yung mga handling insurance during transportation, automatic. And number four, conversion costs. So this pertains to yung labor and overhead that is incurred in converting materials into finished products. Okay, so conversion cost ang tawag doon, labor and overhead. Kasali to dun sa cost of the inventory, which will become your finished product or your goods or work in process. Now, it says here not to include abnormal wastage. So, pag abnormal wastage kasi, this will be charged to loss. Kaya hindi siya makakasali dun sa cost of the inventory. Then, other costs. So, generally, kasi itong borrowing cost saka storage cost, hindi naman siya part of the cost of the inventory. Pero, take note here that borrowing cost will be included. Ano yung borrowing cost? Interest yan. Interest, in general, is interest expense. Pero, interest becomes part of the cost na capitalizable when the inventory takes substantial time to produce. Ibig sabihin, like for example, yung building or yung mga house constructed by real estate businesses or real estate developers, it will take substantial time to produce. Ibig sabihin, before it will take about 1 year, 6 months, 1 year or 2 years before na matapos yung product na yan. Like, take note that yung houses na pangbenta, inventory rin yan. Okay? So, pag qualifying asset siya, ibig sabihin, it takes substantial time to produce. Yung interest, hindi yung expense. I mean, yung interest that you have incurred during the production of this inventory, it will be part of the cost of the inventory. Okay, so just take note. Basta nakita nyo ganyan na cost, interest, borrowing cost incurred during production, and it is something like constructed, then part yan ng cost of the inventory. Then number 2, storage cost. Generally, pag ang in-store mo ay yung binili mo na tapos na, yung storage cost, hindi yon part of the cost of the inventory. Okay? Pero, kung ini-store mo siya habang continuous yung production, parang yung wine, i-store mo dapat yun para maging finish yung maturation process. Then, ayan, part of the cost of the inventory din yan. Pero in general, storage cost will not be part of the cost of the inventory. And then number 3, cost of designs for custom products. Well, generally, when you see a product tapos kunan ng cost of design, then generally, automatic custom product yun. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kasi hindi ka naman magkakaroon ng substantial cost of the design kung hindi customize yung product na yun. Okay, ito rin yung kino-consider natin pag nagre-recognize tayo ng inventory. Kasi syempre, i-determine mo kung you are going to recognize that particular inventory so that you will know how much the total cost of inventory that you will present in your statement of financial position. So, unang-una, goods in transit, FOB shipping point, CIF, cost freight insurance, kunana dito, CIF, and FOB seller, this inventories, when in transit, they are owned by the buyer. Okay? Then, goods in transit, FOB destination, FOB buyer. It means that the seller is still the owner of the inventory during transit. Okay? And then, when it reaches the destination, which is the place of business of the buyer, then that is the time that it will be owned by the buyer. Then consigned goods. Consignor. Sino yung consignor? Ito yung nagpapabenta. Okay, consignee naman yung magbebenta. So, yung goods in possession, yung part in possession, yung may hawak, hindi siya yung may-ari. Okay? Kasi ang may hawak, yung magbebenta. Ang may-ari talaga ay yung consignor na nagpapabenta. Okay? So the consignee acts as an agent or seller of the consignor, kaya hindi transferred yung inventory sa kanya. Okay? So conditional lang na hawak niya yung inventory dahil ibinebenta niya sa in behalf of the consignor yung inventory. Okay, and then take note here, the delivery fee to the consignee is added. So kung merong nagastos si consignor na pag-deliver sa goods to the consignee, part of the parang freight in niya rin yun eh. Kaya magiging part of the cost of the inventory, yung delivery, cost of delivery to the consignee. Pero assuming that ibinalik ni consignee kay consignor dahil hindi talaga niya mabenta, pag kuha ni consignor yun, aalisin mo yung delivery fee that is paid when you deliver to the consignee. Kasi parang naging useless yun. It is no longer necessary. Parang magiging loss mo yun. Okay? Then take note, sales on approval is still owned by the seller kasi hindi pa tapos yung uh, usapan nila. Also with sales, with buyback agreement, parehas lang yon. Na parang conditional pa yung sale. Okay? So in general, kung nakarating na dun sa buyer yung goods, buyer na yung may-ari. Okay? Ito yung dalawang exemption. Sales out on approval and sales with buyback agreement. Okay? Pero take note that when it mentions that unless experience shows that sales is usually completed, it negates the conditional situation. Kasi dito kasi out on approval, conditional pa yung pag-approve. Okay? Kaya hindi pa sold. So kahit na nakarating na sa buyer yung goods, hindi pa rin siya considered sold. So si seller pala yung may-ari. Pero kung merong statement na unless experience shows that sales is usually completed, it negates the conditional situation. Parang final na rin. Okay? Then here, we have sales with high rates of return. Well, high rate means na parang 20% high na yun eh. Okay? Uh, pero hindi pwede na more than 50% yung rate of return kasi otherwise, parang lugi-lugi ka na doon. So, ibig sabihin, hindi maganda yung product mo kung more than 50%. So, mga 20% high rate, considered high rate na yun. Kaya lang, pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na dahil mataas yung rate of return, parang kino-consider mo na may babalik yun. Kasi ibig sabihin ng high rate, mas mataas kaysa normal. Kaya lang, mababa pa rin in general. Okay, so unless there is a specific rate of return that is placed, then generally, you would not consider na naibalik na yung um, return na yan. Okay, so in general, buyer pa rin yung owner of the inventory. Sales on installment, of course, hindi pa bayad pero ang punto kasi kung sino na yung may-ari, point of delivery, point of custodian, kung sino yan na yung may hawak ng inventory, siya yung may-ari. Okay? Meron lang exemption kanina, yung sales out on approval and with buyback agreement. Yung mga exemption. Ito naman, segregated in the goods in the warehouse. Ito pa yung isang exemption na special order to. Per sales contract, it is already segregated. Sino yung may hawak? Seller pa lang. Segregated in the warehouse, hindi mo pa na-deliver. Pero ang may-ari na is the buyer. Dahil parang touch move na kasi na nabenta na. Kasi nakasaad sa kontrata. Okay? Then, segregated goods in the warehouse, hold for shipping. This is another exemption to the rule na hindi pala exemption. Baliktad. This is an item na hindi exemption. Okay? Parang similar to yung segregated in the warehouse. Pero ang malaking pagkakaiba pala dito, yung segregated in the warehouse, hold for shipping instruction, parang hindi pa nagbibigay ng blessing yung buyer na i-send yung yung goods. Sinegregate mo lang kasi gusto mong ma-assure na ready na siya. Pero dahil hold for shipping instruction, ibig sabihin hindi pa 100% na pinapayagan ka ng buyer na i-deliver mo yung goods. So, parang hindi pa rin final. Okay? Magkaiba yung segregated in the goods as per sales contract and under sales order than that way segregated in the goods, in the warehouse, pero hold for shipping instruction. Dito, sa hold for shipping instruction, hindi pa final yung approval ng buyer para kunin talaga yung goods na yan. And then, segregated goods in the warehouse, bill and hold. Okay, so eto, pinapayagan ka na. Bill and hold sabi eh. So, ibig sabihin, meron ng blessing si buyer na pwede mo na siyang i-charge. Okay, so summary lang to ng mga goods in transit, sino yung may-ari. Pero natapos na yung the previous slide to. FOB shipping point free alongside cost freight, the insurance freight, buyer yung may-ari. FOB destination, ex-ship, seller yung may-ari. Now, take note here that the items that are enumerated in problems are usually these items. Sinasabi na kung saan yung lugar, nasa receiving department, nasa window displays, counter display man yan. Company premises yan. Okay? So, lahat yan ay part of your inventory. So, unless damaged, the thing is, you should add this as part of your inventory. Okay, so which are excluded from inventories? Well, itong una, normal amounts of wasted material, well, nasabi na natin ito kanina. Pag abnormal, hindi siya nadadagdag. Okay, so, the storage cost, ito, na-mention din kanina to. Pwede yung storage cost. So, kung essential in the maturation process. Pero in general, storage costs are not part of the cost of the inventory. Then administrative overhead, unrelated to production. Take note here, unrelated. Sabi, ibig sabihin, pwede kasi na merong factory administration eh. So pag factory administration, ito yung pag-manage mo sa production. Okay? Ibig sabihin, related sa production yon. Kung meron kang nakita na word na factory, kahit naidugtong administrative, factory administrative overhead, sabi. Ibig sabihin, related to production yon. So, ang excluded lang dito ay yung unrelated, which means they are general administrative costs or overheads. Then, of course, selling cost, marketing expenses yan. Foreign exchange differences arising directly on recent acquisition of inventories. Okay. Pag binili mo yung inventory, foreign currency, ang valuation ng inventory ay yung valuation of the foreign currency that is set that you have to pay, convert that at the exchange rate at the time of the acquisition. Okay? Ang foreign exchange difference ay nangyayari pag deferred yung payment. Halimbawa, binili mo ngayon. Okay? Nag-place ka ng order ngayon. $10 yung pinambili mo, 50 pesos per dollar yung valuation at the time, okay, na binili mo siya. So, 500 yung cost of the inventory. Now, kung hindi mo pa yan nabayaran at babayaran mo lang pag naging 55 pesos yung foreign currency exchange rate, ibig sabihin, merong foreign exchange difference na 5 pesos times 10, that would be 50. Yung foreign currency exchange difference na yan ay hindi may dadagdag. Okay? Yung ibig sabihin dito. And then, interest cost when inventories are purchased with deferred settlement terms, well, you already know this. Kaya ngayong pag meron kang binili, nagbayad, yung mode of payment is promissory note, non-interest bearing. Ang valuation mo dun sa binibili mo is yung present value. Okay? Kasi hindi dapat idadagdag yung interest cost on the settlement of a purchase. Whatever purchase that is, inventory man or any other item. Property, plant, and equipment, still pare-parehas lang yan. Interest cost on this will be interest expense. Okay, let's have this problem. So, i-pause nyo muna yung video na to, tapos i-try nyo to solve on your own para matest kung naintindihan yung mga discussion kanina. So, pwede na kasi na mag-solve kayo dito following yung sinabi natin regarding the cost of the inventories. So, unang-una, items counted in the bodega. Siyempre, primarily, kasali yan. Okay? Then, pangalawa, yung 100,000 included in the count pero segregated for sales contract, kagaya ng napag-usapan kanina, hindi na dapat kasali yan. Considered sold na yan dahil tapos na yung usapan. Okay? Anong gagawin? Ibabawas mo, hindi mo dededmahin. Kung hindi included in the count, dedmahin mo lang. Pero dito, included in the count. Kasi ang sinabi, pero mali. Kaya, bawas mo yan. Next item, yung items in the receiving department returned by the customer in good condition. Pakita na natin yung mga answers na para maliwanag. Okay? Total, na-try nyo naman, na-solve na to. So, in the receiving department, sa kahit saan pa yan, within the company premises, that is part of the cost of the inventory. Okay? Next item, yung 400,000. In the receiving department, nakuha mo na. Hindi pa na-invoice, walang problema. Okay? Basta, already in your possession. Then items ordered. Freight is on the account of the seller. Parang FOB destination yan. Na may-ari ng goods in transit is the seller. Purchase yan. Kaya ikaw yung buyer, hindi mo pa pag-aari. Yang item na yan. 300,000. Okay, next, item shipped today, invoice mails, FOB shipping point. Ito naman, shipping point, ang may-ari ay yung seller. Pero ito, point of view, tayo yung nagbebenta dito. Ship, sabi kasi. Nag-ship ko na ikaw yung nagbebenta. Hindi pa nakarating kasi kasi-ship mo pa lang. So, bali in transit siya. So, sino yung may-ari? Shipping point. Kuna na. So, hindi na ikaw yung may-ari. Okay? Yun namang 150,000, yan, kabaliktaran, FOB destination. Kaya, yan, sa'yo pa lang yan. Magtra-transfer lang kung nakarating na sa buyer yung goods na yan. Kaya dadagdag niya 150,000 na yan. Next, items on display. Wala namang problema. Nasa sa yan, naka-display lang. Kaya hindi mo pa na-include kasi wala sa bodega. Idadagdag mo yan. On counter for sale. Pati yan. Nasa sariyo rin yan. Okay? Last, 800,000. In the receiving department, refused because of damage, sabi dito. O eto yung exemption. Nasa sa'yo, ba't kasi iniwan? Pero, refuse mo naman, bahala sila. Basta, damage yan, hindi yan dapat kasali. Okay. Kung next item naman, parehas din, damage and unsaleable. So, hindi kasali. ang difference ng item na to included in the count. So yung 180, simple, dedmahin mo lang. Pero yung 50, anong gagawin? Ibabawas mo kasi it was wrongfully included. Therefore, minus. Then finally, the 250 is also added. Okay? Okay, let's have this problem. Pwede i-pause ulit and then try to solve on your own before you hear the solution. So, eto na yung solution. I-present na natin yung solution dito, pero isa-isahin natin kung bakit. Okay? Unang-una, yung 2 million. Of course, that's primarily the one which is included in your inventory. Yung pangalawa, ito, shipping point. So, ang may-ari, yung buyer na. Now, take note here, ikaw yung seller dito. Paano mo nalaman? Kasi finished goods yan. Ang finished goods, hindi binibili ng manufacturing business. Ang finished goods, ito yung pangbenta. Okay? So, finished goods in transit, ibig sabihin, binebenta mo yan, FOB shipping point, sa buyer na yan. No? Okay, so hindi yan kasali. Next, held by salesman, pinapabenta mo. Now, sa'yo yan. Okay? Pero ang dapat ilagay, yung cost, wag yung selling price. So, dapat 100,000 yung ilalagay mo na cost. Then, goods in process, yes. Pa rin yan. Materials, yes na yes. Materials in transit, FOB destination. Okay, so dito naman purchase to. In transit pa lang. Yung FOB destination, magiging sa'yo lang yan kung nakarating na sa'yo. So, hindi yan kasali. Then, defective materials returned to suppliers for replacement. Okay. Eto dahil meron ng usapan na i-replace naman yan. So, well, part of your inventory na rin yan. Okay? For replacement naman. Then, shipping supplies, selling costs yan. Marketing expenses yan. Then, gas and oil and machine lubricants, these are both falling under factory supplies, which will be contained as part of factory overhead, and factory overhead is a part of conversion cost necessary to complete a finished product. Kaya that will be, so generally take note, lahat ng mga production cost, okay, ang production cost tatlo yan, materials, labor, and overhead. Yung labor and overhead, that comprises your conversion cost. So, this will be part of the cost of the inventory. Okay? So, your answer will be 4,500,000. Okay, so itong problem naman na to, so binili mo. Now, is the good in transit? Hindi. Nakarating na yan, na-receive at year-end. So, automatic, yung 500,000 na yan, goods mo na yan, inventory mo na yan. O, ang tanong, merong mga other items that are given here. Kasali ba siya? When it is FOB destination, yung mga cost during delivery or during transit, hindi dapat sino-shoulder ng buyer yan. Shoulder yan ng seller. Siya yung may-ari of the goods in transit. Yan yung significance ng pag-consider ng FOB destination. Although, na-receive mo na yan, ang bottom line is, yung mga other costs dito ay hindi part of the cost of the inventory. Therefore, your answer is letter D, 500,000. Okay, so for this problem, if you are regarding consignment to, so simple lang yung rule regarding consignment. The owner of the goods is the consignor. Ang may hawak ay consignee. Yung consignee, hindi siya yung may-ari. So, the 600,000, you are the consignor kasi ship ko na. This is your point of view. Shinip mo sa consignee. So, ikaw yung consignor. Automatic yung freight, idadagdag mo yan. O 650 na. On the other hand, yung 800,000, you are the consignee. Kasi inventory receipt ko na. Therefore, uh, it's coming from the consignor, so you are the consignee. So, 800,000 is not your inventory. So, of course, it follows that the 50,000 is not also an addition here. So your answer is letter B, 650,000. Okay, so this problem is an application of the just identifying the cost of the inventory as we have discussed a while ago. So yung 5 million, syempre, dyan mag-umpisa. Yung next one, 500,000, trade discount, alam nyo na yan. Ibinabawas yan. Pero already deducted, sabi kaya, no need to consider. So, naka-deduct na kasi. Import duties, yes, that is an additional cost. Freight and insurance on purchases, yes. Other handling costs relating to imports, yes. Brokerage paid to agents for arranging imports, yes. Then salary of accounting department, of course, that's a general administrative cost, hindi yan kasali. Sales commission, hindi rin kasali. Freight out is not part of your inventory. After sales, warranty cost, mas pa yan. Hindi yan kasali. So your answer is 6,700,000. Now let us have the two methods in accounting for inventories. We have the periodic inventory system and perpetual inventory system. Under periodic inventory system, this is the method that we have been using in accounting 31. So under this method, you make use of purchases, purchase returns and allowances, and purchase discount as your account titles. This is actually replaced in perpetual inventory system by only one account title, which is merchandise inventory. So as the term implies, periodic inventory system will adjust only the value of the inventory at the end of the period. Whereas under perpetual inventory system, you are actually adjusting the value of the inventory every time there is a purchase, a return, or a sale. Okay? So that ang mga gamit mo account title dito, isang account lang para yung account na yan, pag bumili ka, tataas yan. Pag nagbenta ka, bababa yan. Okay? So, pag nag-return ka naman, nagbababa rin yan. So, you're going to make a debit to the merchandise inventory account and a credit to the merchandise inventory account whenever you have a decrease or increase, respectively, on the account. Okay, so yun yung basic difference. So that at the end of the accounting period, normally, you already have the estimated balance of the inventory. Although, there could be a discrepancy. Ibig sabihin, there is a chance that as per record, you have followed it up, that the increases and decreases in the inventory led to a balance of 100,000. In that case, dapat yun yung lalabas na balance of the inventory. But there could be some situations wherein there would be shortage or overage, in which case, ultimately, you are going to adjust the balance of your inventory per record to follow what is actually physically counted at the end of the period. So ultimately, yung difference, yung periodic inventory system, hindi ka magkakaroon ng ending balance unless you make account and you base it on that. For the perpetual inventory system, logically, kung ano yung per record, yun yung estimated balance of the inventory. Kaya lang, there is a need sometimes to adjust it whenever there is a shortage or overage. So let's have the answers here. So ito, under periodic inventory system, alam niyo na to. Number one, the entry would be purchases, credit accounts payable. Pag transfer mo or consider mo perpetual inventory system, instead of purchases, ang debit mo ay merchandise inventory. And then, number two, nagkaroon ng return, ang credit mo purchase return. Sa perpetual, ang credit mo ay merchandise inventory. Again. Then number three, paid 600 of the cars it covers. So 600 times 1,000, that's 600,000. Okay, that's a payment. Parehas lang yung entry, accounts payable, credit, cash. Then number four, sold 790 seat covers at 2,000. Okay, so simply, meron kang entry, accounts receivable, credit, sales for both perpetual and periodic inventory system. However, under perpetual inventory system, you have an additional journal entry wherein you deduct merchandise inventory for the cost of the merchandise inventory sold. And then you debit cost of goods sold. Okay? So you now have this cost of goods sold account that is pertaining to the value of the cost of goods sold. Then number five, received 20 cars covers, returned by the customer and gave credit. The goods were in excellent condition. So nag-return yung customer. So debit to sales, return, credit, accounts receivable. Parehas lang yung entry dyan. Okay? Then again, just like sa entry, kung meron kang entry, additional entry, nung magbenta ka, pag nagbalik, meron pa rin additional entry under the perpetual inventory system. And that is a debit to merchandise inventory. Kasi makukuha mo ulit yung inventory na binalik. Diba? Tataas yung inventory mo. Credit, cost of goods sold. Mababawasan din yung cost of goods sold mo. Then number six, receive cash for 680 of the car seat cover sold. So, debit to cash, credit, accounts receivable. Okay, so, ayan. Then, number seven, physical count at year-end revealed 60 units at hand. So, 60 times 1,000, that's 60,000. Okay, so, ayan, yung entry mo, debit inventory, credit, income summary under the periodic inventory system. Okay, so ito yung nakagisnan nyo. Now, as I have mentioned a while ago, the perpetual inventory system actually follows up the value of the inventory, reflecting any increase or decrease in the value every time there is a transaction involving that. So you can have the inventory balance per book. So that is 70,000. So you simply follow it up, 800 plus minus 50 minus 719 minus plus 20. Okay, that would be 70. Now, ang masusunod ay yung physical count. Kasi yun naman talaga yung bilang mo in the warehouse. So, 60,000 daw yung nabilang. So, this means that there is a shortage of 10,000. So, the adjustment to this will be a deduction to the value of the inventory further by 10,000, and then your debit is inventory shortage. At the end of the day, you have the balance of the merchandise inventory adjusted to the actual physical count amounting to 60,000. Okay, so let's have this problem on trade discount and sales discount. So as you can see, you already know in computation regarding this. List price will be reduced by the trade discounts in succession. So this 2010 means they are going to be deducted in succession. 20% times 500,000 for the first discount, you deduct it first, and then the basis for the second trade discount would be the reduced amount. Okay, so not the original price. yung nabawasan na, yun yung basis mo. And then, 360 naman yung basis mo for the last trade discount na 10%. So, you arrive at the invoice price. Then, you deduct the cash payment or cash discount. 2% times 324, that would be the cash discount. So, you have now the payment of 317,520. Okay. For the company B naman, list price is 500,000. That's 35. Okay, so, and then minus the cash discount, the payment within the discount period is 318,500. Okay, so let's have 10-5. This is simply the concept of the gross and the net method, which you've already been taught, only that it was on the point of view of us being the seller. So dito naman, we are the buyer. Pero parehas lang yung concept. Gross method, ang entry mo is based on the gross, 4,750,000. Net method, bawas mo na kagad yung 2%. Kaya ito, 98% of 4,750,000. Yan. And then number 3, you have here, 1,617,000 was paid within the discount period. So yan, yung entry mo, debit accounts payable, credit, cash, credit, purchase discount under the gross method. Meron kang purchase discount dito na re-recognize. And then, yung gross accounts payable, i-work back mo yan. 1,617,000 pertains to the cash payment. So divided by 0.98, that would be 1,650,000. Then the difference is purchase discount. On the other hand, under the net method, it's simply a debit to accounts payable, credit, cash for the cash payment. The accounts payable, take note in here, is already the net. Okay? So, yan. Then additionally, on number 3, you have the balance. Okay, that's 3,717,000 minus 1,617,000. That will be 2,100,000. Yan yung portion naman na walang discount. Under the gross method, simply debit accounts payable, credit, cash. Under the net method, ang mangyayari, debit accounts payable, debit further, purchase discount loss, credit, cash, 2,100,000. Ayan yung entry. Okay? And then, ayun. So, tignan nyo na lang yung other things in this problem. Okay, so this is another problem on gross versus the net. So I believe that you can already do this. So here's the solution. We just skip this part. But I suggest you do it as well. Kasi the more problems you solve, the better you become. Okay, so preliminary notes regarding this problem, you simply have to take note that yung inventory, kaya i-record mo yan pag nabili mo. The timing, first, kung in transit, yun yung magiging tricky. Kailangan mo na bang i-record or ni-record na ba? Yun yung isipin mo. Kung hindi, of course, i-record mo. Kung i-record mo na pero hindi mo pa dapat inventory, dapat i-reverse mo. Paano yung pag-record ng purchase of the inventory? Debit purchase, credit accounts payable. Okay? Pag naman included in the inventory, well, kung hindi included pero dapat mo i-include, your entry would be a debit to inventory, credit income summary. Kung baliktad, naka-include pero hindi mo dapat i-include, i-reverse mo yung entry na yun. Debit income summary, credit inventory. So, una, yung number 1, shipping point received invoice was received on and recorded December 27. Shipment was received in satisfactory condition on January 2. So, ayun. Ano to? In transit. Okay? Ano yung na-receive on December 27? Yung invoice lang. So dahil na-receive mo yung invoice, ni-record mo na based on that. So tama ba na i-record mo na based on that? Well, dahil shipping point yan, well, sa'yo na yung inventory. Tama lang, may record na yan. Kaya lang, yung actual shipment na-receive mo, January 2. Dahil na-receive mo yung shipment, January 2, hindi naka-include nung mag-physical count ka. Okay? So, ang entry mo, debit, inventory, credit, income summary. Dagdag mo sa inventory, then credit mo, income summary. Okay? Number 2 naman, invoice for 75,000, FOB destination not was received and recorded December 28. O ni-record mo, shipment, yung mismong goods na receive mo, January 3. So, dapat mo bang i-record? Hindi, kasi hindi pa sa'yo yung inventory. Hindi mo pa na-receive. FOB destination yung term eh. Okay? So, wala pa sa'yo. Okay? So, anong entry mo nung na-record yung purchase? Debit purchase, credit accounts payable. Anong dapat mong gawin? I-reverse mo kasi ni-record mo pero hindi dapat. Right? So, yung entry mo, debit accounts payable, credit purchases. Okay? Not included in the inventory, sabi. Tama ba? Yes, tama yan. Not included. Kaya okay lang yung inventory count natin. Number 3, an invoice for 30,000 FOB shipping point was received, recorded January 4. Okay? The invoice showed that the goods were shipped December 28 and the receiving report indicated that the goods was received January 4. Okay, so in transit yung inventory. Okay? So in transit siya. FOB shipping point. So inventory mo na ba? Yes, inventory mo na. Okay? Pero ni-record mo na ba? Hindi pa kasi nakita mo dito recorded sabi pero on January 4. So as of December 31, the inventory is already in transit pero hindi mo pa na-receive, pero hindi mo pa rin ini-record. Pero dapat i-record mo kasi shipping point. You are the owner of the goods in transit. You, as the buyer, is the owner of goods in transit. So, entry mo, debit purchases, credit accounts payable. It was excluded from the inventory. Kailangan mo bang include? Yes. Kailangan mong i-include kasi ikaw na yung may-ari niyan. So, debit inventory, credit income summary. Number 4, invoice for 90,000, shipping point, received December 15. Goods were received on December 18, but across the port, merchandise not of the same quality as ordered. Return for credit. So, dapat hindi mo inventory yan. Kasi inayawan mo eh. Okay? But it was included in our inventory. So, ang gagawin, reverse mo yung entry on the inclusion of inventory, cancel mo yung inventory, debit income summary. Okay? The number 5, an invoice for 140,000 FOB destination was received and recorded January 4. So, FOB destination. Ikaw na ba yung may-ari? Purchase yan? Yung baliktad dito, yung invoice yun yung nahuli. Ni-record mo January 4. Pero, na-receive mo na yung goods on December 29. Kahit FOB destination pa yan, ang situation dito, na-receive mo na yung inventory. So, hindi na yan in transit. Okay? Kaya, kailangan mong i-record. Pero naka-record na ba? Hindi. Kasi nakita mo dito recorded. Pero on January 4, as of December 31, hindi ba siya recorded? So therefore, your entry is debit purchases, credit accounts payable. Okay, so basically this is the same problem. Parang kaparehas lang ng 10-7 to. Na titignan mo lang kung na-include na ba or hindi, na-record na ba or hindi, i-analyze mo so that will be plus or minus on the account titles na inventory, accounts payable, and sales. Okay, so try nyo na lang and then without looking at the solution and then afterwards, i-analyze nyo yung solution. Okay, so for this problem, simply ang tinatanong ay yung shipping cost to be included in the year-end inventory. So, magkano ba yung shipping cost? Ito, 1.5 million. And ano yung 1 million? Shipping cost to export customers. So, hindi yan yung focus dito. Okay, so selling cost yan. Ang freight in, ito 1.5 million. So, kailangan to kasi maghahatian ng mga inventory. So, merong natira. So, magkano yung portion na para sa natira? I-ratio and proportion mo lang 1.5 million. 3 million over 12 million times 1.5 million. Or pwede rin 1,500,000 divided by 12 million, then times 3 million. So, you will have 375,000. So, ito, basic problem lang. Yung cost of goods sold, syempre, you start with merchandise inventory beginning plus purchases plus freight in minus ending inventory. Kaya lang, pag sasamahin mo lang yung central warehouse saka held by consignees. Kaya ito, beginning inventory is 1,100,000 plus 120, that's 1,220. Yan lang. Pag tipunan lang, ito ay duwang item. So, your answer will be 5,120,000. Okay, so this problem na lang to on trade discount. So, cost of purchase daw, the answer is letter C. We'll just try to compute and then see the solution here. Okay, so let's have this problem. Basic lang to na comparison between the net and the gross method. Okay, so first question, how much should be reported as accounts payable at year-end after the conversion? So, ang nangyari kasi dito, gross yung ginamit pero wishes to change to recording at based on net, sabi dito, net of purchase discount. Okay, so kung net method yung ginamit, okay, i-convert mo pala, magkano yung accounts payable at year-end? So, 300,000 yung accounts payable mo. Yung still available, ibig sabihin, ito yung pertaining to hindi pa nabayaran. Okay? Kaya, ibig sabihin, kung net method sana, nakaneto na sana itong 2,000 na discount available from this 300,000. So answer natin for number 1 is 298,000. Then number 2, well, eto, siguro parang kung medyo mahirapan, just try to compare side by side. Anong mangyayari kung gross and net method? Kung gross kasi, yung meron kang purchase discount, okay? Pero hindi dapat under the net method, wala kang purchase discount na i-record. And then, under the net method, kailangan mong mag-recognize ng purchase discount loss. Well, the purchase discount taken, that's given, 8,000. Purchase discount loss, meron ka kasing 20,000 total discount. Kung 8,000 taken, 2,000 still available, ibig sabihin 10,000 yung purchase discount loss. Okay? So, i-record mo yan kung gagamitin mo ay net method. Okay? And then, yung accounts payable mo, syempre, mababawasan ng 2,000 as reflected kanina. So, the total purchases will be reduced by 20,000. The total discount that was either available or lost or still available. Okay? Kasi lahat ng discount, pag net method, um, initially deducted. Okay? So, mas mababa sana by 20,000 yung purchases. O, 10 to 16, 6 million yung reported. Pero dito, included yung goods shipped FOB shipping point on December 31. Okay? Di pala. It was picked up by the carrier on January 10. So, yung goods na yan, binil mo on December 31, pero hindi pa napipick up, so hindi pa in transit. Okay? So, 125,000 is still your inventory. Pero tingnan natin. Included in the physical count. Tama naman. Okay? Billed. So, no problem with the physical count. Okay? Well, out of the question yung pagkakabill. Mali yun. Okay? Pero mali yung entry mo na debit AR, credit sales. Siyempre, kung binil mo siya, sabihin, nag-record ka ng debit AR, credit sales. Yung sales mo dyan ang mali. Hindi yung inventory kasi tama, included pa rin siya. Kasi hindi pa na-pick up. Okay? Then next, goods shipped, FOB shipping point, invoice 300,000. Received January 4. Okay, na-ship na. Okay? So, from a vendor. Okay? So, ikaw yung buyer. Ikaw yung buyer. FOB shipping point, sa'yo na yan. Okay, so plus mo, 300,000. So answer, 6,300,000, letter D. From this problem, 10-17 onwards, I think you can do it already on your own. So I will just flash the answers. Pero before answering, i-pause nyo na lang and try to solve before looking into the solution. 10-17, here is the solution. Answer letter C. Then that's 18, answer letter A. 10 that's 19, answer letter A. 10 that's 20, answer letter A. 21, answer D. 22, answer B. 23, answer C. 24, answer A.